Let's just jump into the Brandon Aiyuk of it all, because I don't blame Jed York for saying let's put Humpty Dumpty back together again. I mean, they're paying for him, and this is also the team that once upon a time had Jimmy Garoppolo 19th on the depth chart and wound up signing him by the end of training camp, and needing him. Right? Is that the philosophy here at play, Matt?
I think his comments probably caught John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan a little bit off guard. I mean, the Brandon Aiyuk 49ers union, it came to an end. It was building. And then last year, in the middle of December, they placed him on the reserve left squad list. So if they couldn't get him to come to the team last year when he was at risk of basically voiding a $27 million guarantee for this year, I don't think that there's any chance of that union staying together. Now, from Jed York's standpoint, the 49ers do have him under contract, and they don't want to just cut him free and let him go wherever he wants to go to a team that wants him. They want to be able to get something for him. So the best way of doing that would probably be for the owner of the 49ers to put the word out that, what, we're just fine keeping him here. So if some team wants him, if you want him now, come get him now. The 49ers aren't in any hurry whatsoever to get rid of him and just allow him to control his own path. So I think that was probably the message that Jed York was sending to the 31 other teams, that if you're interested at all, you'd have to really wait a long time for him. So if you want him, come get him now and give the 49ers something in return.
Why is this difference so irreconcilable?
I have no idea. And I don't even think the 49ers really have an idea. I think the only one who can really answer that is Brandon Aiyuk. The contract negotiations for that deal that he signed before the 2024 season, it did get contentious, but usually when something like that happens, through a contentious negotiation, once the deal is signed, it's basically both sides kind of kiss and make up and they move on. And for Brandon Aiyuk, it was a rocky offseason that year during the contract negotiations. He finally signed the deal, and then he wasn't productive when he got on the field. He missed all the training camp and all the offseason program. And right around the time where it started to look like, he might be playing the kind of football that the 49ers signed up for, that's when he got injured. And then, the rehab kind of went sideways with him not fulfilling the terms of the contract to show up and be under team supervision. So it's kind of a tough one to put your finger on. And, I think even his close friends on the team weren't at all sure, what was going on, what the impetus was for him to have such a fractured relationship with the 49ers. I think generally speaking, when you have
What if the Buffalo Bills are not supposed to chase Brandon Aiyuk out of desperation, but out of timing? Haha, Bills Mafia, that is the version of this story that really gets my attention, because this is not about Buffalo being empty at wide receiver. No, sir. The Bills already made a big move for DJ Moore, and the official roster now has Moore, Khalil Shakir, Joshua Palmer, Keon Coleman, McCole Hardman, and Trent Sherfield in the room. So this is not some emergency cry for help. This is something way more dangerous than that. This is Buffalo asking a contender's question. If a high-level weapon becomes even a little available, do you pounce while Josh Allen is still in his prime? And that is why Brandon Aiyuk keeps coming up. He is still officially on the 49ers roster, and Reuters reported that San Francisco is in no rush to take him off it, even with all the noise around his future. That matters, Bills Mafia, because it tells you this is not a done deal, not a free agent situation, and not some "it's official" move waiting to happen. But it also tells you the story is alive. Because if the 49ers were completely shutting the door emotionally, this conversation would not keep breathing. Yeah, and once a story like that stays alive, teams like Buffalo have to at least think about the angle. Now let's talk football, because that is where this gets fun. Aiyuk is not just a name. He is a technician. He is a separator. He is the kind of receiver who can make life easier on a quarterback by creating clean windows and winning on timing. That is a different flavor from what Buffalo already has. DJ Moore brings explosive juice. Shakir brings chemistry and feel. Coleman brings size and upside. But Aiyuk? Oh man, Aiyuk gives you route-running control. He gives you that calm, polished answer when the game gets tight and the defense starts squeezing every throw. That is the kind of weapon that can make a playoff offense feel more complete. But here comes the cold water part, Bills Mafia. This only works if Buffalo has a real solution, because Brandon Aiyuk's contract is not light. Over the Cap lists his 2026 cap hit at a little over $14.6 million, with $27 million in cash due, and Buffalo is not operating with infinite room. So the move is not just trade for him. The move, if it ever became real, would have to be trade plus restructure, maybe trade plus extension mechanics, something creative from Brandon Beane to soften the impact and keep the rest of the roster standing. Haha, and that is the true challenge here, not the football fit. The football fit is easy to imagine. The cap fit is where the grown man work begins. And then there's San Francisco's side. Reuters reported the 49ers voided Aiyuk's 2026 guaranteed money after he failed to attend rehab, but team owner Jed York also said he would like to see Aiyuk play for the 49ers in 2026. So that is the tension, Bills Mafia. The relationship has strain, but not a full public breakup. That means Buffalo cannot force this. The Bills would need the 49ers to decide that moving the player is better than carrying the uncertainty, and then Buffalo would need to be ready with the right package at the right moment. And that is why I keep coming back to timing, not panic. Timing. So my take is simple. Brandon Aiyuk to Buffalo is not the move the Bills have to make, but it is absolutely the kind of move they should study if the window opens. Because teams with Josh Allen in his prime do not get scared of hard decisions. They look for edges. They look for value in chaos. They look for the weapon that turns very good into good luck defending this in January. Bills Mafia, tell me what you think. If the 49ers soften and the money can be worked, would you want Brandon Beane to make the call on Brandon Aiyuk? Or are you rolling with the receiver room Buffalo already built? Drop your take in the comments, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's keep riding. Because if this story ever gets real, yeah, the whole AFC is going to pay attention.